Timmy Joe reviews anything.
Reviewing computer parts on YouTube.
That's fun.
You gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh yeah.
What's going on, people? My name's Timmy Joe, making videos about computers all up on the internet, and it's a little case review just launching today. We have the Corsair 220T RGB Airflow, and it's working hard right now. Ooh, I can feel the air. It's flowing through. There's airflow in this thing. It's a pretty good case. Pretty good case, I gotta say. A little pricey, but you get what you pay for, I suppose. In the kind of mid-range, like tinier case segment here, I wish this was a little cheaper. But we'll talk all about it. And it's running Firestrike stress test with a Ryzen 2600 in here, overclocked to 4.075 gigahertz. And it's got the Wraith Prism cooler on it, RGB Prism jazz going on. And it's not working as hard as that 980 Ti, which is a very hot, powerful card. It is a very hot, powerful card, especially when it's overclocked to, what, 1450? 1450. A good one will get to 1500. This one's not really the greatest at that. But even at those those frequencies, the temperatures will typically get up into the 80s, depending on the case situation and how good the cooler is. I feel air coming through from those three fans, this beautiful grate, which will come off. We're going to affect the results a little bit here, but you can pull this grate off just like this. There is a nice magnetic dust filter in the front that I'm going to be able to, ouch, oh, now I'm breaking it. Just pop right in there without even looking, because that's how easy it is. There's there's four little nubbins that fit into a nubbin holder on the front. You can really hear the fans flowing now. This is how easy it is, right? Now I'm making it all dirty. Ooh, and it's warm. There we go. That's how easy that is. So if you want to clean that dust filter, boom. Don't worry, the stress test is more than halfway done. You won't have to deal with me for long, but I have it running to illustrate a point. Okay, so it's running Firestrike 1450 megahertz, you know, near the bleeding edge of what this card is capable of, and 70 degrees, if that, 69 degrees right now. And I mean, the fans are all ramped up. It's kind of loud, kinda, but how this case comes is it's got those three RGB fans in the front, and they're just like DC fans. They're not even PWM, but they have to hook into your motherboard or some way you're going to come up with, because they're a 3-pin, that's all that's there. There's no fan controller, although there is the RGB controller that does come with the case, and then you can plug that in via USB on a USB header on your motherboard, and then you can install the IQ software and control the lights if that's your thing. We got our, just doing the standard, what it does out of the box right now, the glowy. There's no fan in the back, but although it would help, and I mean, Corsair, come on, don't you have some 12-cent fans laying around you can just put in the back of this that aren't RGB or something? But it doesn't need it, because there's so much good airflow coming in the front, and those fans are doing the work to push the air from the hot computer through, that, you know what, it's not that bad. But it does have its downside. So it's tempered glass, and it's that, you're going to get your hands and gross it out and putting the thing back on. But, you know what, everyone's doing it, so I guess when the whole industry changes towards something a little bit better than this, some sort of, whatever design on cheap cases, which is totally possible. I like the ones where, the bottom maybe just sits in like a little groove, so you only have to put two of those on, but you have that ability to use your hands and maybe plop them in there and then put them on there without getting too much of your fingerprints on there. And this is a smaller case. We have a little power supply basement, and you're not going to be putting a 360 mil because the hard drive cage is in the way of that, although you can have the three fans in there. You're not putting any more than, you're not putting any rad in the top of that as far as I'm concerned, because there's not very much room up here. And unless you want to get a smaller graphics card, that's a very, very long graphics card, you're not going to be doing an AIO in the front without like a shorter graphics card. I believe like a reference model NVIDIA card, or, as long as it's like two fans, you'd probably be all right. But this triple fan, pretty long version of the 980 Ti gets right up, butted up there near the fans up there. But you know what? She all fits in there, and it kind of creates a little, the bottom half is the GPU's warmth, the top half is the CPU warmth, and if you want to put some fans on the top, there is a dust filter here, and you could put, looks like two 140 mil fans or 120 mil fans up there as well. So we're past the test. We passed 98, and we saw that if we scroll down here and we go to GPU temperature, and it maintained 69 to 70 degrees throughout that whole stress test. When I did this very recently on a different case, well, I might have put the review out, I might not have already, probably did. But if you saw that, or if you're going to see it, it's a closed off panel in the front, and it baked this card to 85 degrees in Kingdom Come. And I had to do some monkeying with how the fans came. And it was a case that was pretty much the same price as this case. And it was a tempered glass, but with a closed off plastic front. Stop making plastic front cases, guys. Stop making the glass front unless you're really going to make some airflow. This is a good case design. I really like it. It was very easy to build in. I kind of wish that there was somewhere you could put your SSDs inside. I like to show off my SSDs. I don't know what it is. There is no like 2.5 inch drive bay holders inside this case. A lot of them will put little, caddies here, or maybe up in the top corner near the fans. Nothing like that in here. You can put two 2.5 inch drives in the back behind the motherboard tray. You can put two 3.5 inch drives in the little drive cage. There's a decent amount of room for cable management, but with the non-modular power supply that I used with this, and the amount of, because there's an RGB controller back there, there's a little bit of stuff to take care of. I had to force that back panel on, and I did some decent cable management, as you can see. But as you saw at the beginning of the video, I did a time lapse of me building this thing, and it was a quick, painless 20 minutes. I can build a computer pretty dang quick these days. I mean, I probably built 300 computers in my lifetime. It doesn't take me long. I got this thing together in probably 20 minutes with absolutely no heartaches. There's rubber grommets on all of the holes going through there. Premium stuff that way. I really like the way that front mesh just pops out if you want to clean it, because you're going to get a little bit of dirt, or maybe you want a little bit of extra airflow, which I don't think you need, but you could take that front dust filter out and probably get just a little bit more, airflow, because this thing is pretty breathable. It's a nice metal panel, very solid construction. I mean, it's Corsair, they know how to make cases, but it's a little on the tiny side, but I think a lot of people will like that. And with the little Aorus Micro ATX board I've gotten here, M-ATX board, fits nicely. You could put a full ATX in this thing, of course. I've got, 2600 and some Patriot memory. Patriot set this out for me to use in some builds and stuff. So thanks, Patriot. It's their signature line, 2666. 16 gigabytes of DDR4, 2666. Nothing too crazy. I think it's like CL16 or something like that. CL17. So it's not the greatest RAM, but it's super cheap. It's like $80 for 16 gigs or something like that, or $90. So, yeah. My conclusion on the 220, TRGB Air, this is a great case. If you want to pay a little bit of a premium, because there's cases that look like this that are $50 or $60 American USD. But there's a bump up in quality when you go to a name like Corsair, and there's nothing wrong with this case, except for you're going to get fingerprints on the glass when you're putting the little screws in. That kind of bugs me. And there's a little bit not enough room in the back for cable management, but you can definitely deal with it because there's no hump in the back or anything like that. And the AIO placement, just beware that you're going to have a shorter GPU to be able to do any sort of AIO in there with those, if you want to do a push-pull and keep those fans in there, you need a pretty short graphics card. But it could be done for sure. Rubber grommets, power supply fits in there nicely. I would say the 220 is a really nice case. And at $109.99, I will leave Amazon affiliate links below if there are some available on launch day. It's a really great buy considering I just reviewed a case that was $10 less and had terrible airflow, had only one RGB fan, and had a plastic front that was very kind of tacky and was you know, not that great. And it was priced right in line with this thing. And it's like, you could get a tempered glass case for 50 bucks, but if you want, you know, a premium quality experience, comes with all the screws and everything you're going to need, comes with zip ties, comes with you know, everything you're going to need to make this a really high flow airflow case. You couldn't go wrong with this thing, that's for sure. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe Instagram and Twitter. I gotta say, I like this case quite a bit. I wish it was maybe 20 bucks less expensive, but I imagine, you know, once it's been on the market for a while, you should be able to get it for like around 90 bucks or something like that with some sales and stuff like that. And that's kind of Corsair's thinking. They launch a case like this, and they expect to, you know, have to put it on sale at some point. And it's really not any less than like a $90 case in my opinion, or an $80 case. So, you know, if you can get it on a deal later on once it's been out for a little bit, sure, pick it up. But even at $109.99, it's a premium building experience, and that's it. So Amazon affiliate links below. Thanks to Corsair for sending this out on the release date, and I highly recommend it. It is a really awesome high airflow case, and if you wanted to even just put an extra fan, you know, up here and a couple of fans up here, buy another, you know, set of those RGB fans, or just buy some cheap ones off Amazon. This thing's an airflow beast, man, because there's nothing obstructing except for a little dust filter and some metal slots. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. Beware of the metal slots, and I'll see you guys in another video.